Hello, this is Alvil, and today I'm bringing to you a tool that you might find useful to keep track of your personal finances. This is an Excel macro that is based on the Financius app. The link is in the description below since it's not longer on the Google Play Store. As well, there will be a link for a video that shows the functionality of the Financius app itself. I have found that it's the best app for keep track of your expenses, incomes, transfer, everything related to your personal finances. And with this tool, I'm enhancing the functionality that is quick scope through the Financius app and might give to you. So let's give it a quick look. On the balance sheet, we may see that every account that we have saved on the Financius app, it's calculated as well here, and you may find the total balance that the account has as to date. On the tracking sheet, we may see all the expenses that are accounted for the time period that we choose through this time slicer on Excel. For the tracking summary and regarding the income and expenses and the tracking expense details, it's going to show everything that's related to the categories that we may have to find on the Financius app, and as well for the labels that incur on those categories, like more detail regarding these category expenses. On the comparison sheets, we may see we may compare two time periods regarding the income and the expense. For example, here it's selected compare the income from May regarding to the one on June from income and from expenses. So we may see here that everything is calculated here. What's your total income regarding one category, the other categories, and so on. For expenses, it's going to do the same thing. It's going to show what expenses are made, and I will go into detail later on. On the budget, the budget it's what is your budget based on the master budget, and what is your actual spending, and how this is changing according to what was your first thought, what versus the actual spending. From here we may have a graph as well regarding everything that's involved on the expenses. The master budget is where you set everything for from January to December regarding to the budget that you are actually pretending to spend on each category. This has to be manually filled, and you may add rows as you wish, or delete rows as you wish, and change the names of these categories. But please note that you need to have a total at the end for the month, and note this total category budget at the end. These are manually calculated, so you just change the quantities, and probably may have to redo this formula, which is basically just a sum from all the category and the month. The dictionary fix is intended for another languages that the Financius app changes these words for these strange characters. This is intended to address this on the original file on the CSV. If I hit replace words, it gives me a warning that if the file is open, I need to close it before updating these values on that file. So I hit OK, I select my file, and then I hit open, and it's going to change those strange characters to these words. So this is basically for foreign languages that have non-standard characters for English, for aesthetics basically. Well, if I go to balance, as I was saying, everything that it's registered on the records of the Financius app, it's addressed here. Every expense for the accounts, all the incomes for all the accounts, all the transfers from and all the transfers to accounts are addressed here. So this way everything is calculated on the column B, and on the column A it's going to show all the accounts that we have saved there. On the tracking sheet, I may select, for example, the month May, and it's going to calculate it according to all the records that we have on the app. So for the tracking summary, I may see that I had an income of 1,600, an expense of 31,000. So my total net, it's basically income minus expenses. On the tracking expense details, I may go further into analyzing where I spent my money, and on the category and label, if there is a label that I hit, for example, clothing, I don't know if I have defined labels, clothing for sports, clothing for the office, and so on, everything will be here according to the labels that we defined on the Financius app. On the comparison sheets, I compare how the accounts change over time. In this example, I have May selected from, and I have June as the compare to. So if I hit expand and hide group, I may see that the income on May was from 1,600 basically, and then it changed it to 2,600. So there is an increase on my income from May to June, and I may see it here. Here I'm using a spark line with a win-loss situation where I'm basically saying, well, is this first the cash got raised, the debit card raised it as well. On this category, for example, the income, I have less income related to, in this category, income and income. I had less income that I did on the previous month, and so on. So for the expense, it's basically the same. I saved here, for example, the last month on clothing, I spent 500, and on June I didn't spend anything. So I may say that I saved on that account, right? On that category. So basically it's the same thing for this spark line. This is these are the values that I get on this month for every category there related to the previous one. If I go to the budget, this, as we may read here, is based on the tracking sheet. So the time period that I set here, it's going to be respected on this. So for example, if I go from March to May, and if I go to the budget sheet, it's going to account for the March-May budget. So what were the March-May budget sums for all the categories, and what was the actual spend on those categories, and what is the change on what was my original budget versus the actual spend, the actual spending on those on that time period. And as well, we may see it graphically. If I hit expand hide group, I may see what's the trend line what's the trend line, what does it look like, everything graphically, and so on. For the master budget, well, I explained that. you may change as you wish, add or delete rows. In order to update it with your own Financius data or any data that uses CSV in the following format may be useful as well. So you go here to data and you hit manage data model. This is to activate the Power Pivot plugin that Excel has in case you don't have it, because it's the macro works with that data too. So once you do that, you go to queries and connections. You go to other queries and go to this query that it's called props. You may rename it as you wish. Just hit edit, go to the source, then click on data source settings, change source, and go where your file from Financius is. I highly suggest that you make a folder on Google Drive called Financius and leave the file there. So I already have it. If you don't, just hit browse and look for the path where your file is, the CSV file. Hit OK. I will hit close here. And you have to go through all the steps here again. So you just click this. Once you reach here, everything should be the same. Just hit close and load, and everything will be refreshed according to your data. If it doesn't, I suggest to you that you go to balances sheet just to see everything is done. Click on refresh all. It's going to take a while, so probably up to 5 minutes according to your data. It's a normal behavior, and the flashing screen, it's a normal behavior as well, so please be patient. But when it's done, it's going to show you everything with your own data, and you may filter as you wish and do all the commands that we saw in your own personal finances. I hope you find this tool useful for the track of your income, for everything related to your personal finances, budget. And if you have any doubt regarding this tool, please leave a comment below and I will be more than glad to help you out. Okay guys, as always, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more awesome tutorials and be sure to like and comment this. See ya!